The Watchers are not fictional beings. They are an ancient order of powerful entities mentioned in multiple religious, historical, and occultist texts. Their most famous record comes from the Book of Enoch, which described them as angels assigned to watch over humanity. But these were not harmless guardians. They crossed the line, defying divine law, interfered directly in human affairs. Originally, their role was surveillance, observes of human behavior, meant to guide without interfering. But temptation struck. They did not remain passive observers. They craved what humans had: flesh, desire, and the power to create. This led to a rebellion not of open war, but a seduction, knowledge, and corruption. The Watchers descended upon Mount Hermon, swearing an oath together to take human women as their wives. This act was not mere lust, it was a calculated choice to merge the divine with the mortal, to break boundaries, produce something neither fully human nor fully angelic. The fallout from this decision would permanently scar human history. Their danger comes from their dual nature. They possess higher knowledge, secrets of heaven, creation, and spiritual mechanic, but they lack the restraint to use it responsibly. When they shared these secrets with mankind, it was not charity, it was contamination. They weaponized knowledge. The Watchers taught forbidden arts, weapon making, enchantment, astrology, sorcery, and even the cosmic art. They taught humanity how to wage organized war, manipulate nature, alter their own appearance. These teachings advanced human civilization, but in a twisted, destructive way. Armies became more efficient, sorcery became more potent, vanity and lust became tools of control. The Watchers acknowledge brought short term empowerment, but long term chaos. It was like giving nuclear weapon to a tribe. There was no going back. Their most infamous legacy is the birth of the Nephilim. These giant offsprings were the hybrids of Watchers and human women. They were neither mortal nor immortal, but their size, power, and hunger made them predators upon humanity. They consumed resources, dominated territories, brought violence wherever they went. The Nephilims were not gentle rulers, they were destroyers. They enslaved population, waged endless war, even turned to cannibalism where resource reigned thin. These giants were physical evidence of the Watchers' violation of natural law. The danger of the Watchers was not only in their action, but in the example they set. They proved that divine beings could fall, could lust, could rebel, could lead humanity into rebellion as well. Their story became a warning, an Ancient texts, even those close to divine, can be corrupt. The Great Flood narrative is deeply tied to the Watchers and multiple traditions. The flood was not just to punish humanity, but to wipe out the Nephilim and cleanse the earth of the Watchers' genetic corruption. But even after the flood, traces remain in bloodlines and legends and secret teachings passed down. When the Watchers were judged, they were not simply destroyed. Many were bound in chains and the abyss, according to ancient accounts, but not all were punished. Some escaped, some hide, some influenced human civilization from the shadow for millennia. These survivors, watchers learned from their mistake. No longer would they appear openly as giants or glowing being. They adapted to influence from behind the scene, manipulated kings, priests, and leaders through dreams, whispers, occulted alliance. Their fingerprint are on the rise and fall of empires. Every time human civilization makes a massive leap forward in weaponry, control system, or unnatural knowledge, the influence of the Watchers can be suspect. They move history in a direction of domination, not liberation. In modern time, the Watchers present is harder to detect because they've mastered the art of disguise. They blend into power structure, corporate hierarchy, scientific institution, entertainment empires. The face have changed, but the gender remain. They are. Why are they still here? Because their rebellion was never about a single event. It's about altering the course of humanity permanently. They aim to rewrite human destiny into one that mirror their own corruption and rebellion against higher authority. The Watcher's modern offspring may not be towering Nephilim giant, but the hybridization program continue in different form. Genetic manipulation, transhumanism, artificial intelligence. The tools have changed, but the goal is the same to create something beyond human, yet under their control. The Watchers also thrive on secrecy. They cultivate disbelief so that when someone speaks of them, they are marked or dismissed as a conspiracy theorist. This allowed them to operate freely while hiding in plain sight. Their danger today lies in the fact that they have shifted from mystic figures to unseen influences. Instead of teaching mythology in the desert, they fund weapon research in laboratory. Instead of revealing astrology under the stars, they manipulate predictive algorithm and tech companies. They also maintain influence in religious institutions. Some are enabled so deeply in position of spiritual authority that they can shape doctrine, rewrite history, steer entire population away from the truth. One of their oldest tactics is distraction. Keep humanity entertained, divide and obsessed with surface level pleasure so that no one noticed the deeper manipulation at work. Bred in circus in ancient Rome, social media mass entertainment today. They remain dangerous because they are patient. Human lifespan are short. The Watchers measure time in century. They can plant an idea today and wait 100 years for it to bear fruit. This long games make them nearly impossible to root out by short-sighted human strategy. The knowledge they gave humanity in ancient time have never been fully lost. It's been hidden, encrypted in symbol, passed down in secret society, reviewed when needed, revived when needed. This ensure their influence survive every purge, every regime change, every disaster. The Watchers are not merely ancient story. They are an ongoing threat. They adapt to each era, technology, language, political structure. They have no allegiance to any nation or people, only to their rebellion and their own kind. They can still be recognized if you know the sign. The sudden rise of a leader with unnatural charisma, the mysterious appearance of technology decades ahead of its time, the obsession with merging human life with machinery or altering human genetics. What they taught long ago, the art of war, seduction, vanity, forbidden science still form the backbone of modern power. These are the same tools used by elite to control the mass today. The offspring of the Watchers, an ancient world left physically ruined, massive structure, impossible architect, and myth of giant kings. Their modern counterpart leaves digital footprint, data network, hidden hands behind the world event. The Watchers remain dangerous because they blur the line between divine and demonic. They present themselves as saviors, innovators, visionaries, while hiding the true cause of their gift. And every era, there are whispers of their exposure prophet in ancient time, whistleblowers and modern ones. But the Watchers are skilled at silencing the threats, whether through exile, discrediting, or outright elimination. Humanity's greatest mistake would be to think the Watchers are gone. The moment we dismiss them as legend, we hand them the perfect camouflage. The moment we deny their existence, we make ourselves blind to their influence. The Watchers were never merely watching, they were guiding, corrupting, reshaping. They still are, and humanity learned to identify, resist their influence. The cycle will repeat, the same rebellion, the same corruption, the same downfall. So often in time, most people think that the Watchers are gone. Clearly, they do not have the gift of discerning. Clearly, they don't have the gift of seeing or premonition or the ability to do astral projection. And I tell people astral traveling is pretty much dreaming, because when you dream, most people don't realize that um, the this meat sack, this vehicle, some people like to call it container. There's different names for it throughout the planet. Um, some parts of the world they call it skin. Some part of the world they call it container. Some parts of the world they call it a vehicle. Some part of the world they call it meat sack. Some part of the world they call it a vessel. So it all depends on what part of the world you're in, but there's names for it. But what's inside of it is essentially you inside of this vehicle. Now, every time you travel, you actually come out of it. Now, for some reason, people don't remember what they see when they come out of it, because typically um, people think like out of body experience is something special. I'm like, shoot, every time you dream, you have one. You just don't realize you have one because you haven't trained yourself. You haven't learned to be disciplined. You don't have a notepad near your bed for you to write what you see. You have not trained yourself to ask questions. You have not trained yourself to talk to what you see in there when you're dreaming. You haven't trained yourself to go looking for information that you want about when you come back into the physical. So, the thing about the physical world that makes it very interesting is that some would say the physical world is the dreamland. The dreamland is the real world, because we're just having some people like to say the human experience, the physical experience, however you want to chop it up. But I do know we do have two aspects. We have the physical world, and then we have the invisible world. Okay. Now, some people in the physical world, they're one way. When they go into the invisible world, they're a different way. Like for me, I am more of an extrovert. I'm an extrovert in the physical, and I mean the invisible. I'm an extrovert in the invisible world. In the physical world, I'm more of an introvert. You know, so everything I do in the physical world is more contained to being an introvert. Where I'm in the invisible world, I'm an extrovert. You'll be amazed. You know, you can catch me singing in a crowd full of people. You can catch me doing things that I never would do. I am, there's no limits. I do things that when I wake up, I'm like, whoo, that is interesting. And then I'm able to actually visit where I want to mentally. Like, this is where I want to go. And I'm going to go there for 5 minutes. This is what I want to experience real quick, you know. So there's a lot of that going on here. So they're real. You just have to look at the signs. I think for me, it was when I started to really get deep into these questions, I just started to notice things that didn't make any sense in the physical world. Like, for example, weird things. Like, I would see there would be a country that's supposed to be nothing but black people. But I'm like, wait a minute, who are those three, four, five white people in a crowd full of black people? Where did they come from? What are they doing there? This is very bizarre behavior. And then also something that I noticed, it wasn't just the black world. I noticed the same thing with the brown lands. There were always a couple of them around. Everybody is brown, but there's like this 4 or 5. And then also there would be like weird pictures where the so-called leadership would be in the room, but talking about he's having a high-end meeting, but he'll have people that didn't look like him or his people. Where it started to look like, okay, you're taking directive. And I was like, oh my goodness, there's no more states. There's no more nations here. They just haven't told the world this crap. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then I started to look um, at countries. Like, for example, when I was growing up, they used to make a big to do about Western Europe. Personally, I've never been to Western Europe, and I have to make it very clear, never desire to step foot in there neither. So all of this, I'm like, that's not true. Everybody black ain't trying to go there. Everybody black don't care about what's in there. No, that's not the dream vacation for everybody black. Now it may be a few of the ones they paint off that have the biggest mouth in the crowd, but that's not my dream. If given the opportunity, no, I don't care what it look like in there. I really don't care, people. That's not been any place I ever desire. I've never even dreamed of the damn place to go over there. To the point that when I dream, I don't even think I even look in that damn place. If I do, you better believe my feet, even when I'm astral traveling, don't step foot in there. I just never cared for the damn place. But to make a long story short, I was just like, wow, they have this thing called NATO. Why does it look like these people are not just vassal, but they've done them what they've done, what they have utilized them to do to the black lands, what they have utilized them to do to the brown lands, what they have utilized them to do to the Asian land. I don't think anybody really with clear eyes is looking at this clearly. I'm like, um, there is no Western Europe bloc. It's one blob. I mean, how did this happen? They're colonized people. The colonizers got colonized over there, and they have their foot on the neck of the colonizers. Here's the hubris about this whole thing: the colonizers still throwing punch at places they used to colonize. And I have a weird feeling it's not so much they're going there throwing punches, they're told to do it for optic purpose. If that ain't the goddamn watchers, I don't know what is up to this. They're not, they're treating their country the way that they have historically treated foreign, faraway land. They don't give a damn what the people want. Mm-mm. Full speed ahead, what they want. Foot under gas, no brakes. They don't care. I mean, whew, you know, it's crazy. If there is really any country that may be semi independent, I hate to say it, it'd be like what we call a developer. That's where you'll find them. That's where you see all the pressure point on them. That's what you see all this throwing punches going at because they refuse to bow. They may be like 4 or 5, the semi solvent on this planet, semi, and I wouldn't consider Western Europe. I don't think any of that it's solvent. Um, Russia may have sovereignty to a certain extent, to a certain extent, because things, I'm gonna have to go deep into that. I'm gonna make a video about it called "There Are No More State Nation." They're running the whole damn thing, you know. So, my name is Manushka Jessica Lucal T Podcast. Please like and subscribe. Because I just realized I was going down that train of thought. I'm like, oh, I can make a whole video about that when I really started thinking about that. Please like and subscribe. And keep in mind, I'm just a one person show. I'm just putting my thought out here because I do know these things will actually in the future. I'm just trying to, it may not make sense right now, but it will. There'll be people looking for this. They'll be trying to look for answer. So I'm just ahead of the curve. So please like, subscribe. My name is Manushka Jessica, host of Lucal T Podcast. Bye. Oh yeah. Take it easy on yourself and take it easy on your fellow beings. All right. And please stop being rough on yourself. Bye.